Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I have the honor to share a sacred conversation with Amanda Lindsey, and I'm very excited to share this happy quotes with you. You already have it on your beautiful background, but yeah, I'm excited to share this, so welcome.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited. Absolutely ready to spread the happy with everybody.
Yes, I love that. I love your mission and also what you share online, and you really hear about spreading the codes of happy, but maybe you want to share a little bit about what, because you have a certain interpretation of the word happy and what it means, and yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I call myself spreader of the happy. First of all, because oh man, happiness is my way of expressing love. That's how my soul expresses love to everyone. And so I try and do that the best way that I can every day, in connecting with people through hugs and smiles. And I guess I'll start kind of how this whole spread of the happy thing began. I I am an experiencer of chronic health issues. It goes way back to when I was 15 years old. But I really started experiencing really bad from like 2009. You know, well, with that came a lot of isolation, depression, and a lot of just my whole world upturned. And I just I was alone. I just felt disconnected from a lot of people, disconnected from myself. And interestingly enough, the going through, spending lots of years this way. When the pandemic hit, it kind of clicked for me that everyone else was going through these experiences too, only on like a lot faster pace. It was like their whole life was being upturned. They were, experiencing the unknown. They were experiencing isolation. They couldn't leave their homes. They couldn't, and granted, it was for different reasons. They weren't, physically tied to their bed or anything like that. But, that those feelings were the same as what I was experiencing. And I was like, for the first time in a very long time, I actually felt connected to the world. And it was bittersweet because first of all, it was like, yay, I'm connected again to everyone. But then I looked at it and was like, I don't want to be connected to the world this way. I don't want that connection to be this way. And one of the things I noticed that we were missing most in the world, everyone, were hugs and smiles. Because first of all, the social distancing, we physically couldn't hug one another anymore. And then the smiles being covered up with the face masks and things. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make it my mission to spread hugs and smiles. That's what I want to do. And so that, in combination with, it's very interesting that the two really um, lowest parts in my life, my health issues, and the world, the pandemic, sparked some of the most beautiful things in my world today,
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah. It's really like what I love about your story and your resilience. And again, it's a choice. You with everything in every challenge that happens, you're choosing to find the happy, or you're choosing to find the gift or the blessing in that moment, or the things you can be grateful for of, and share that with others. And I think it's really inspirational to see, like, because all of us, like, we have these challenges in our lives, but again, it's a choice. How do we choose to cope with it, and how do we choose to be an inspiration through what is happening? And you've shifted that whole dynamic and that whole energy, and now I love spreading hugs and smiles, because it truly is. There's also something powerful happening when we're hugging, when we're physically giving each other, like, there's a whole chemistry. Like, we need hugs. It's like babies, they survive when they get hugs, and when they can be close with their parents and beautiful souls. And sometimes we forget that as we're growing up, like, how important those energies are, and those, yeah. But also a smile, like a smile. I've never thought of it that way, but indeed, with all the masks, we couldn't see the smiles, and then you have twinkling eyes, but still, there's this different dimension with a smile. Yeah.
It really is interesting because, I've gone and walked on the streets and, or just, sometimes just entered a room and smiled at people, and
Yeah.
the whole energy of the room shifts. Or, someone could be very sad in an elevator, and you give them a smile, and you literally see them just,
Yeah.
change. It's such a beautiful and powerful thing.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, I heard a story where someone, just random strangers, had given them a smile, and it completely changed the other person's day, because they were actually thinking about committing suicide. And this person that gave that person a smile had no idea.
Mm.
And it just because that feeling of being acknowledged and
Yes.
cared for, it's amazing how that could just change someone so dramatically.
Wow. Yeah. And there's something powerful in that, because, like, something as simple as a smile can already indeed give the acknowledgement. Like, I see you, I acknowledge you, and I
Yeah.
send you happiness, or I send you love, or, and it's also something like, it's such a simple thing. We can all do that. Like, when we're walking to the grocery store, or when we're in an elevator, we can just leave a smile instead of. And it's also understanding, because even physically, like, when we're smiling, we're making such totally different alchemical processes in our body. And even if you don't feel like it, I sometimes do this practice when I feel very challenged in my life, or I put up a smile. But then, if you do it long enough, at one point, it will change your frequency, it will change your vibration, it will change your alchemical processes. And there's something powerful beyond also the physical understanding that is happening when we're choosing to smile, even in challenges, or even when there's nothing to smile for our mind, but there's always a smile within us that wants to shine. Or, yeah.
Absolutely true. And I like that you mentioned your practice of doing that when you don't, sometimes you don't feel it. That's one of the things I challenge people to do, is when throughout the day, when you go to the bathroom, there's always
Mm.
a mirror somewhere in the bathroom, right? And so I'm like, why don't you throughout your day just consciously, because especially, you go in the bathroom at least once a day, at least.
Yes.
So if you go,
Yes.
so
Yes.
if you go in and, just think about it, and look in the mirror and give yourself a smile, and just
Mhm.
see what happens throughout the day when you do that. And
Yeah.
you know you you find it within yourself, like you said, it'll start happening, but then, it'll it's contagious.
Yes.
It'll happen to other people as well. And that's another thing I love about it, just how contagious it is. Because, you know that smile I give to you lightens you up, you'll pass it along, and who
Yeah.
knows where it'll end up. And
Yes.
that's the beauty of it too.
I love that.
um
Yeah.
and and another thing I love, I feel happiness is so universal, just universal. You don't need to, you know learn it to be able to go somewhere else in another culture. It's just, it's a feeling that the souls, but it's a soul, it is a soul
Yes.
love.
Yeah,
I
I love
really
it.
think,
Yes.
it
Yes.
really is.
Yeah, and it's even I love, like, as you shared, that like it's not dependent on language. So also if you like, we don't have to learn each other's language. We can just smile and already like the intention is clear, or the energy, or the friendliness of yeah. And I also love, I think that's a beautiful one. I've never thought about it that way. But when you smile in the bathroom to yourself, because a lot of us have been learned to judge ourselves, to judge like, oh, my hair is not sitting good, or instead of smiling to your image, smiling to yourself, smiling to like that, that's almost a double ripple effect, because then you're sending out love to yourself and you're receiving it back, and you're acknowledging the beauty of yourself, and then you get out of that bathroom and you ripple that out into, yes, I totally feel the vibration of what you're sharing.
It's just, and it's a literal reflection
Yes,
too, which
it
is
is.
really cool,
Yes,
So,
I love that.
so I think it would be a fun challenge to, to offer people, because it's just,
Yes.
like you said, we are societally trained, I guess, to judge. And so if we maybe normalize not doing that and normalize smiling and loving what's there, it it'll just raise that frequency so much more.
Mhm. And what do you, because you have a certain word for happy, but if you, for each letter you have a different.
Oh, okay. Yes. One of the things I have done is I am creator of Happiness Movement and Facebook group Project Shape,
Mm-hmm.
and that is spreading happiness across planet Earth.
Oh, that was it. Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. I
And
love that.
so basically, I like getting people into shape. So
Yes. Oh, shape. Yes, that was the word I was sure.
I
Yeah.
like
Yes.
get into shape, and so I like it because it's like, I I kind of like it too, because it's kind of a play on, getting into physical shape. And
Yes.
usually people are like, oh, I don't want to get into shape, well, or they don't think of it in a happy way. So if
Yeah.
you're like, hey, let's get into shape, it's
Yeah.
spreading happiness across planet Earth. I
But
like
it's
it.
also like a new earth way of getting into shape, because getting into shape is loving yourself, because that's the
Absolutely.
frequency, that's the currency, and that's when you love every part of your body. That is getting into shape. It's not judging, or it needs to lose a little weight, or you need to have more, like, okay, it's good when it's healthy, but in essence it's about loving all that you are. So I love the shape and getting into yeah, getting into love with yourself. And yeah.
Absolutely. And it's all of it. It's the emotional, the spiritual, the physical. It's a whole love. Like, like you said, a whole new way of looking at it. And it's the group is it's growing. I'm super excited. Right now we have let's see, I think we have 867 people,
Yes.
and we have 56 different countries that are involved. And that just blows my mind. I'm like, how
Yes.
awesome is that? And what's really cool is that the connections that are being made through that group have just blossomed. Like,
Mm.
people who ordinarily would not have met, have connected, have collaborated, have become friends,
Yeah.
and that's just a beautiful thing too, because you know it's it right there is that virtual space
Mm-hmm.
is creating the happiness. And that's one of the things I started with. And because of course it was a little bit after the pandemic, so 2021 was when I started the group. But
Mm-hmm.
it has gone, where I have my the movement. I have tried doing a lot of different things. First of all, the when I originally started thinking about the hugs and smiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea came to me to make these little cards. And of
Yeah.
course, I don't have them with me. I wish I could have shown
Yes.
you guys, but I forgot them. But
Yeah.
they're little cards with the Project Shape logo on front. And it's got a little earth with all
Mm-hmm.
these different color hands around. And it's just a very childlike, innocent unity symbol,
Mm-hmm.
kind of what it is. And it says Project Shape on it. And on the back, I write these little happy notes, handwritten, It's hugs and smiles. You are awesome. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Great job, and thank you. And with these little cards, my thoughts were, okay, if we can't do the hugs and smiles physically yet, this can be a physical way. And so
Mm.
when you're out and about, you can just, give these cards to someone, or, you can leave them places, and
Yes.
it's a great way to physically spread that happiness. In the event that, say you're shy and you're not one to start conversations or
Mm.
whatever, you can give out a card that will say, have a beautiful day. And
Yeah.
so that sentiment is given that way, if
Mm.
you're not, if you're not comfortable sharing your voice,
Yeah.
There've also been great conversation starters. Like, my parents have been, they had gone out of state, and they were walking on the street, and they saw this guy walking his dog, and they gave him a card, and they ended up in like a 30-minute conversation.
Oh, wow.
And
Yes.
it was just it's just
Yeah.
neat. And
Yes.
so it's exciting to see the different ways that um
Yeah.
these initiatives that have started have created happiness. and
Yeah.
and I love that flow, and I just, it makes me happy.
Yes. I get, yeah. And
And
it's
it,
really about, like, there are many beautiful projects of random acts of kindness, and it really is so powerful. We can think of, okay, it's such simple things, but it creates a beautiful ripple, and you never know, like, how it transforms a life of a beautiful soul that gets to receive your kindness and your, yeah. But I also love, like, if you see your journey, like also your physical challenges and all of that, how you're constantly choosing to, like, also when you get challenged, how you're choosing happiness, or how you're choosing to inspire others, but by that also, again, inspire yourself. And yeah, I don't know what, like, what has helped you in your journey to do that, when you get so physically challenged, to really rise above that and create this movement and inspire others.
one of the things that has helped me is what I call finding the happy in the crappy.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
But what it's doing is just it realizing that your troubles that you're going through are not your whole life,
Mm.
and that, sure, you're not necessarily going to find happiness in your situation that you're in, so yeah, physical illness sucks when you can't, move. It sucks. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to say woohoo, there's
Yeah.
but if I can sort of separate myself beyond that and look and say, I can be happy in my life with other things. I may not be able to get out of bed, but you know what, I can close my eyes, and I can transport myself with my imagination into this beautiful field of flowers. Or I can be with all these people that I love, even though I can't physically be. I can be there in my mind. I can be there in my heart. And, just focusing on those things, it can elevate your spirits, and can bring happiness into your life. And that's one of the things that I try and help people with. And, I strive myself, is to find that happy in the crappy. And gratitude plays a huge part in that. And when you can find that one thing, and it may be just one thing. Like, I mean, there were days that just the simple fact that I could open my eyes was all that, I could celebrate, I could be grateful for. But that one thing,
Mhm.
if I celebrate it enough and I focus on it enough, I start to see other things in my life
Mm.
that I can be happy about. And it's that ripple, it's that snowball effect of positivity, rather than, it really is, it is a choice, like you said.
Mm.
It's what you focus on.
It is, yeah, but it also, because I noticed when I was going through my own chronic illness, like sometimes at one point I also felt I have a choice to go down this drain with this chronic illness or to choose something different. And that was a dedication daily. But at the end, I was able to heal and harmonize my body and step into the version where I am today. But it was like sometimes indeed it's from the outside, it looks easy. But for me as well, each day, even if things got challenging, or even when I felt like, okay, it feels like I'm setting one step forward and three back, to still keep focusing on. And yeah, I think it's really each time when I see your energy and your stories and all of that, I think it's powerful how you choose to rise and how you're choosing to inspire. And always love all your messages with a lot of emoticons. I love those as well, because sometimes words can say something, but I'm also all about the emoticons because they sometimes say more than the words. Or yeah, there's like your background, it just has something happy, and it just, yeah, it can be, yeah, it has so much vibration, but it's, yeah, I love that, the power that is in that choice.
Thank you.
Yes.
And what's also so awesome about that choice too is because for me it is a daily choice. Like,
Yeah.
when I wake up, I do my stretches, and before I get going to get my day going, after I do my stretches, I will sit there and I will say daily, today I choose to be happy.
Mm.
And in making that choice at the beginning of the day, that intention, that helps for me to focus,
Yeah.
and so if I'm what's also awesome about that choice is that if you're feeling not happy, or not so low, or if you're feeling low, that choice will lift you up. But
Mm.
even if you're feeling good, that choice lifts you up even more. So
Yeah.
it's not just going from a low vibration to a higher vibration. It's elevating you even from a high vibration to
Yeah.
even higher. So
Yeah.
it really is that, that intention makes all the difference. It's really
Yeah.
interesting to think about.
It is.
And
Yeah.
yes, the emojis are definitely one of my favorite
Yes.
things. Oh, I love them.
Yes. Sometimes I always love to just put a lot of them in a message, and I love that you're doing that as well. So it always gives me a smile to have someone who does that. Yeah, but there's so much power in our energy and in our choice, and sometimes we can't change the world around us, and sometimes we can't change immediately our circumstances. But again, it's just as well, it's just a choice of seeing the glass half full or half, and that's a focus and a dedication. But it's also in the end like the power of your soul that is coming through and that is shining this light on the different areas in your life and all the people you get to inspire with what you're doing. And again, what I love about all of these Soul Love podcast stories is there is a resilience, there's a power, but somehow there was also a certain activation that happened. So for you to have these experiences also, and it doesn't mean that you need to have these experiences, but it activated you into, because sometimes it's also when life goes good and everything is okay, sometimes we take it for granted. And when then things like this happen, we suddenly indeed we are happy that we can open our eyes, or we are happy that we can just enjoy the sunlight or a warm cup of tea. And it's sometimes also, I think, a sadness that so many people take everything for granted. And because there's so much blessings are around us in the simple things, there's so much wonder, just even our physical body, how it works, that it each day supports us in processing our foods, our emotions, that we can walk and move our arms. Or it's not always for everyone that way. So to be grateful of this experience, to be grateful, and yeah, I think to be more conscious about the blessings that are already there, the blessings that we have every day, to be alive, to be on this earth, to be able to give you a smile and receive a smile back, and the dynamic that creates. Like it's, yeah, the
Those,
simplicity.
oh, the
Yeah.
miracles are everywhere. They
Yeah.
really are. And what's sometimes it's really difficult, but to allow ourselves to receive that happiness, to receive the miracles,
Mhm.
because they really are everywhere. And sometimes it's not that we're not seeing them. Sometimes it's we just don't think we deserve them,
Mhm.
and that's one of the things I try to express to people too is, you are worthy, and you do deserve all this happiness that's around. And so, don't feel bad if you're happy,
Mhm.
because it's really a good thing. And
Yeah.
just, because things are going good for you, and they may not be going good for someone else, that doesn't mean that you're taking anything away from them. It's just that right now, their circumstances aren't the best, but I'm sure, just as when my circumstances weren't the best, I could still find something to be happy about. So, it's a good thing for all of
Yeah.
us.
Yes, and I think you're pointing out an important thing, because in society we've so been taught to talk about what's not going wrong, but what's not going good, or when a lot of people around us are challenged, to not share our celebrations or to not share our happy. But it's understanding when we do so, we give them a chance to raise their vibration or to get inspired. Or it's not bragging, it's not selfish, it's just when you share from your heart your enthusiasm, you get to inspire them instead of indeed feeding the sometimes negative patterns, because then we keep in this loop. So I think that's a powerful thing, but it's also a collective thing where we somehow we like to talk about separation instead of oneness and wholeness and happy. And but what is that like? Because we all feel the difference when we're smiling, all, but somehow, yeah. So I think that's an important key as well.
One of the really things that when I was really when I was one of my worst when I was worse off in bed, I had friends who, wouldn't come to visit me or wouldn't talk to me because they they were afraid that, you know, what they said would make me sad or whatever. And I was like, guys, please no, it makes me happy to get visits. It brings me joy to hear you celebrate because, the things that I can't do, if y'all are doing them and y'all are enjoying them, I can see the joy on your face and I can, like you said, I can feel that vibration and that lifts me up,
Yes. Yeah.
So I definitely remember, I can remember people not wanting to communicate or associate with me because they were afraid or they were sad that, they might make me more sad. And I'm like, no, no, no.
Yeah, but then you have this dynamic where you get isolated even more, and I think I think that's good that it creates an awareness in everyone tuning in, or yeah, that it's important to just keep sharing and to be open and to not also like fill it in for someone else, like because we sometimes have these ideas of what someone else will think if we're sharing our happy story, or and then it's coming back to this awareness that it's not even most of the time our truth, it's a paradigm that has been placed upon us, and to rise above that and to share. So I think that's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to invite you, like if there, before we're going, if you want to know more about Amanda, I want to invite you to find all the information below for her Facebook group, her website, her beautiful happy shape project. So find it below this video, audio, whatever way you're tuning in. But I want to ask you, like if there's one advice you want to give everyone at this moment that you feel like that would be beneficial, what would it be?
Oh, just I would say give yourself a smile every day.
Yeah.
Give yourself a smile every day and just see what happens.
I love that. And keep using the emoticons.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Oh, I want to thank you for your light, your message, your truth, and for stepping up in the way you're doing and sharing your moments of happy and your smiles and the changes you bring into the world. So thank you. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Keep sharing your happy and your beautiful things, and feel free to share whatever you found for keys out of these beautiful conversations. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Soul Love podcast. So for now, love. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.